Find the perimeter of triangle EFG. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So in order to find the perimeter of the triangle, we have to find the distance between the points that are making up the sides of the triangle. That would be the side lengths of the triangle, because the perimeter is finding and adding up all the sides. So let's first find the distance between points G and F to give us the side length of segment GF. So G is the point 1, 1, and F is the point 3, 4. So we're finding the distance between those 2 points. So x1 is 1, y1 is 1, and x2 is 3, and y2 is 4. Now we're using the distance formula. I'm going to write the general distance formula up at the top, since we're going to do it 3 times for the 3 different side lengths. So the distance formula is D equals the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. So for the distance between GF, let me label that, we're going to have that the distance is equal to 3 minus 1 squared, x2 minus x1 squared, plus 4 minus 1 squared, y2 minus y1 squared. So that gives us that we get the square root of 2 squared plus 3 squared, which is the square root of 4 plus 9, which is the square root of 13, which is approximately, if we round to the nearest tenth, 3.6. So the distance between points G and F is 3.6 units, so the length of segment GF is 3.6 units. So that is our first side length we need to add to find the perimeter. Now let's find the side length of segment GE. So we're using points G and E, which are 1, 1, and 7, negative 1. So x1, y1 is 1 and 1, and x2, y2 is 7, negative 1. So using the distance formula, we'll substitute in those values. We'll have the distance of, or the distance equals the square root of x2 minus x1, so 7 minus 1 squared, plus we have y2 minus y1 is negative 1 minus 1 squared. So that gives us the distance equals the square root of 7 minus 1 is 6 squared, and negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2 squared. So that gives us the distance equals the square root of 36 plus 4 for 6 squared and negative 2 squared, which is the square root of 40, which is approximately, if we round to the nearest tenth, 6.3. So now the distance between points G and E is 6.3, so the length of that segment is 6.3 units. Finally, we now just have to find the distance between points F and E to find the measure of that segment. So we're using points F and E, so F is 3, 4, and E is 7, negative 1. So the distance is going to equal the square root. We have x1 and y1 from the first point and x2 and y2 from the second point. So x2 minus x1 would be 7 minus 3 squared, plus y2 minus y1 is negative 1 minus 4 squared. So now that simplifies. We have 7 minus 3 is 4 squared, and negative 1 minus 4 is negative 5 squared. So now we have 4 squared is 16. Negative 5 squared is 25. 16 plus 25 gives us the square root of 41, which, if we round to the nearest tenth, is approximately 6.4. Whew. Okay, so we have the distance between points F and E is 6.4, so that side length of the measure of segment FE is 6.4. So to find the perimeter, we're now going to add up the side lengths. We have 3.6 plus 6.3 plus 6.4. That will give us our perimeter. Again, 3.6 plus 6.3 plus 6.4, which gives us a perimeter of approximately 16.3 units, making our answer choice B.